Hold up. Hey, yo. Man, the weather's changing. The clock's about to go back or up. It's getting dark earlier. You know what I'm saying? Summer's over. You know what I'm saying? That big yellow thing in the sky just disappears around a certain time of the day. And everybody's looking for the light, trying to get illuminated. You know what I'm saying, Worthy? But, you know, I know where to find the sun at. You know what I'm saying? And I brought the sun here to the floaters. Ladies and gentlemen, we got DJ Sun in the house. What's up, my man?
What's good?
What's going on, man? You done made your name. Baltimore, Maryland, New York, Philly. You know what I'm saying? They know your name all over the East Coast. Is one of the best DJs, man. Hey, yo, I seen it last night. Hey, where? I think you weren't even there. Was you there? You was there. Yo, something happened on the other DJ set to where we just heard like a pin drop, like, and that's unusual for a concert, right?
Yeah, the music just stopped. We were in the green room, and it was like the opening DJ, and he had been rocking for like 40 minutes, and the music just stopped, and we all looked at each other like, you know, when that happens as another DJ, I don't know whether I'm supposed to run out and see what I can do to help or if I should just hang back and mind my business. But, you know, last night somebody came in the green room like, yo, where's Son at? So I ended up getting a longer set. We were at the Freddie Gibbs show. John Wells was opening or direct support. Shout out John Wells. So he asked me to come along and DJ with him. So
yo, it felt
it was
like
a cool situation.
It felt like when that situation happened, like you see on the movies and stuff, like when a woman's about to have birth, and they're like, "Yo, is there a doctor in the house? The doctor in the house." Like I was literally waiting for they hear like, "Yo, is there a DJ, son, come up." But it's like, yo, you just was like ready, like stay ready, born ready, don't gotta get ready.
Exactly. That's honestly my motto, like stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. I feel like a lot of people, and not to, you know, go on a tangent, but I feel like in this game, in art in general, you know, a lot of people, especially in the social media age we're in, a lot of people get really good at talking the talk and they can get in the room. But once you're in the room, you got to be able to follow through. So that's the stay ready part. It's like when they call, when they say, is there a DJ? Not only you got to be there, but you got to be able to like come at the drop of a pin and turn it up, like do what needs to be done. You know, I was literally sitting on the couch putting my little set together last night. I hadn't even put a crate together. I was just starting to put a crate together. Went to the bathroom when they ran in there. I don't know. It's just
Popeyes.
Yeah, right. Eating Popeyes, just chilling.
Yeah, but how do you think the show went last night?
Yo, last night was so much fun. It was a really good one. Of all the shows me and John have done together, that was definitely probably top of the list. There's been times where like we were on lineups with people that didn't necessarily have like crazy chemistry, like different sounds and stuff. We did a show opening for Skilla Bang earlier this summer, which was like, you know, if you've heard John Wells music and you've heard Skilla Bang, it's two ends of a spectrum, both dope, but very different. So having John with Freddie, you know, I think that we all understood the assignment. I was in there playing a bunch of, I played some backpack era stuff, some newer stuff, some Maxo Cream, some more of the like,
yeah, you
know, that end of the hip hop sound. Like we all knew what the vibe was, and I think everybody hit their mark last night. And John, like, maybe y'all don't know, when you see this footage, just know that boy was recovering from food poisoning on stage, and he did his thing. Like, we missed a rehearsal. We were supposed to have our main rehearsal for that show, and we ended up skipping it because of him getting past that food thing. And he came out and he sent me he sent me all his tracks without, you know, any backing track. It was just instrumentals, and he hit every single word. I don't think he messed up once last night.
Yeah,
so it was a good show.
Hell yeah, that definitely was like the maturation.
Yeah.
Is that the word right? Maturation?
I'm not even going to act like I know.
All right, well, that was like the coming of age for John Wells, like, of people just seeing how great he is for real. Like, what me and you, everybody already knows close to him. I feel like that was like, it translated beautifully. And you definitely set the tone for that, like, just them already just fucking with the DJ, like
breaking the ice a little bit, getting them warmed up, getting the energy right.
Yeah. Talk about shit, man. Like, so like, all right, let's start from the beginning, man. We got DJ Sun in the house, man. It's Florida's TV. Got my man's Worthy, man. My man's Jody, man. Whatever he want to go by, it's up to him. You know what I'm saying? It's a mood thing. You know what I'm saying? But we got DJ Sun in the house. Yo, Florida's Halloween party. Let's get that out the way, like.
Yo,
I'm honored that you're gonna be there, yo.
It's gonna be a great time. It's me, Bree Mafia, so it's a family affair. You know, costume party, cash prize, in the floaters headquarters. This is my first time here, and this space is magnificent. It's gonna be on 10. So make sure y'all pull up. October 28th. We're gonna be starting early, going late. You're gonna get the info, but listen, I'm gonna be there. Bree's gonna be there. Whole lot of good folks in the building. We're gonna definitely take it there.
Yeah, because I looked at your computer when we were backstage in the green room and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We was just backstage. But I looked at your computer, like, and you had your DJ, like computer application open up. And, like, I seen, like, you had the track, like, you had tracks listed, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, when did you start, like, before you even were a professional, like, were you just always putting music together? Like, were you downloading shit from LimeWire and stuff like that?
I can't say I was, honestly. My brother was. My older brother was always making me like burn CDs and putting stuff on an iPod for me, and it was kind of just a like take what you get kind of situation. But I was always just thinking about like playlisting in my head and really like soundtracking. Like a lot of the ways I think about different sets, like my crates are organized very differently. Like a lot of DJs will have their hip hop crate, their 2000s crate, their R&B crate, and mine is really more about vibe and energy than genre or like era. So I'm thinking about like as we propel ourselves into the future, there's all these moments that haven't been soundtracked yet, right? In the movie that is life. So I feel as though like that's the DJ's goal, is to look at what's going on in the room and be like, all right, what song is gonna make these people feel like they're in the movie versus feeling like you know when you go to the club or you go out and you're like, oh yeah, you're with your people, you're with your girl, whatever, you're like, yo, it's gonna be one of those nights. You just feel the energy, it's right, and then you get there and the music's just not really hitting and you can't even like get into it because of that. I feel like that's the make or break moment. You know what I mean? It's like if you can play the thing that makes everybody be like, oh shit, we in a movie right now, it will be, you know? So yeah. I really try to just think about like the vibe and the energy, and then I've been collecting music, trading music with so many people for so long. Other DJs will trade USBs, go 20 for 20, whatever. So I got like, you know, I've played parties where it was like just like a disco party and they want me to play just music from 1970 to 1975. I did that for a rap party for this HBO show that took place in that era. Or, you know, maybe like next week we're doing an R&B party, and I know I've been to this party before in Brooklyn and it's like hardcore R&B. You know what I mean? It's not like you can get away with playing some like crossover R&B. Nah, they want that shit. So, yeah, you know, to any DJs watching or whatever, just like whatever works for you, but definitely organize your music. Because what you saw the other night, like in my hip-hop, my like master hip-hop club playlist, yeah, I got over 1,000 songs in there. Yeah. You know, so if I'm playing an hour, there's no way I'm going to hit even like 1% of that or 2% of that. You know what I mean? So it's really important to just know where your music's at in the moment. So when you need to like pivot or switch up or find that one deep cut, you just know exactly where it is. You don't got to like, you know, spend a whole lot of time looking.
Yeah, yeah. So you seen the DJ before he was bullshit and he wasn't sorry, no. I'll cut that out. He was a big dude. He probably fucked me up. But so like so how did you get into DJing? Like you saying you weren't like the person that was like downloading hella
I really
music
wasn't
growing up.
Like I wasn't like, I know a lot of DJs start by like making, you know, mixtapes or whatever. I didn't start like that. Like I was really into music. I went to Baltimore School for the Arts for music. So like music has been a thing in my life forever. You know, whether it was like just listening to hip hop growing up, club music, growing up in Baltimore, or like, you know, I studied classical music. You know, it was all around me in different capacities. And I was in like 8th grade. I think it was the summer before high school, basically. And my friend, the iPhone or the iPod Touch was out. Like it was probably like the 2nd generation or something. They had that app. They had that DJ app. And that was, I swear to God, the first time I like realized it was a thing. And I know that's like a very new school story. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, you know, records, whatever. Nah, I was on an iPod Touch,
Right.
seeing that I could mix 2 songs in my iTunes together. And I was like, this shit is crazy. And one thing led to another. Started doing it for fun, you know, at the homies parties and just around in high school. And then I went to school for audio engineering in Philly. And that was the first time I really like saw people really doing it and hustling and making good money too. It made me realize I could do this full time. Made me realize that, you know, honestly, in Baltimore, the only examples I had of people like really, really, really making money on their own time was people selling drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I got to Philly at that point in my life, it was a really special change because it was the first time I looked up and saw that same mindset. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can change your life in 24 hours if your phone is charged type mentality. But it was pushing something more positive.
Right.
So, and that's when, like, I got to college. I was not interested in going to classes or hanging out with those college kids from who knows where. Like, I got to Philly and I just put my feet on the ground. I was like, all right, who's from actually Philly, who can show me around, who can put me in touch with these clubs? Because when I turn 21, I want to be in here. I'm trying to do this full time. And that was a couple years ago. And
who was the person that you found? Or one of the key players that you found?
Honestly, so yeah. The first big step, like my first move, right? And this is for anybody trying to get started who needs an angle. I had my own speakers. So I would go to these college parties and I'd be like, look, you can borrow my speakers. You just got to let me DJ the first hour. Yeah, I mean, so they were like, all right, fuck, we need speakers. I guess we'll let him hop on decks for a second. I was like 17 years old, but I knew what I could do. So I would come in and I had, you know, my Baltimore flair in Philly, which translated, and they just, you know, people like me, usually they'd let me stay on or they'd reach out the next time, book me again. But there was this, like a collective media company situation called True Wave. And they basically found me. You know, I was DJing in some basement off Diamond Street in North Philly.
I know what Diamond Street is.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry if you know where that is. No, I'm kidding. But that's a heavy location in Philly.
Oh, I don't know what it is then. I thought it was like an actual like jewelry district.
Oh, nah. It's in North Philly. It's like when you're on the Temple campus, once you hit Diamond Street, that's when you got to start like keeping your head on the swivel type shit.
Yeah.
But a lot of good house parties over there. But
yeah, I've been to some house parties over in Temple. Yo, I might have been the DJ Son. I might have been the DJ Son party before, yo.
But some older folks in Philly who had been, you know, and these were like not college kids. These were like straight grew up in Philly people. They heard me DJing at one of those parties and they kind of came over and they were like, yo, like, you know, you playing shit that we really like you know that there's more to DJing than standing in, you know, puddles of beer in a basement waiting for the cops to come. I was like, oh, for real?
Yo, dickhead, you nice with this shit. Yo.
Exactly, yeah. So that was, shout out True Wave, the homies, Drew, James, Austin, all them. And they really like, you know, they taught me how to use more expensive equipment and like gave me access. So that's a big thing too when you're starting out, you know, accessibility to this expensive equipment. Because there were times where I would get called to play at a club. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. Knowing damn well I don't know anything about that equipment, but I would just say yes, you know, and then call the homies at True Wave and be like, yo, I'm spinning on CDJs for my first time. What do I do?
Yeah.
But they were dope. They would throw these live stream events back in like 2016, 17, way before the pandemic. And they would just see who was on tour, hit them up and be like, hey, you trying to come play this like low key, basically it would be a boiler room in a fucking South Philly row house. And we would have it set up so that the DJ would be like right here, camera looking at us and all the people behind you. So it was a big vibe. We had like Flaming Ghosts, Tumba Beats, Malik 95, like a lot of ill people. Armani White came through and did one because he's a Philly bull. That's the dude that did the big T-shirt, Billie Eilish. That John, you seen him on IG.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Philly bull, so he came through and did one of those back in the day. But that was my first entry and like the first moment where I realized there was a lot more to this. And I was like 19, 20 at that point. So that was perfect timing so that a couple years later after working with them a bunch, I was ready to, I mean, I was getting kicked out of clubs. You know, I would get booked. I'd be like 20 years old, and they'd come around during sound check, like, oh, just to be sure, you know what I mean? And they'd look at my ID and be like, you can't be here, you know? So when I turned 21, like, I had done a lot of groundwork already, and I was letting people know in Philly. I was like, look, when I'm 21, put me in.
Yo, how they getting
Yeah.
how they getting paid, like getting that paper, like touching that wallet, like, you know what I'm saying, that hard earned cash, that hand over fist, them transactions, them direct
Man,
deposits, like how did that change your life, them cash apps?
it changed a lot, but I'll be honest, I was getting screwed over a lot at first. You know what I mean? And that's just how it goes. Like, this huge club in Philly. It's like the biggest, nicest, like Vegas style club.
What's it called?
It's called Noto. Actually, Meek Mills is a partial owner of that spot, and they do all the appearances there, all the release parties. And I got hit up on the random. I think some DJ dropped out, and they were like, "Oh, we need a hip hop opener for this Tory Lanez release party." It's awkward now, but yeah, it was a Tory Lanez release party. And somebody in that room, when so and so dropped out, somebody in that room was like, "Oh, y'all should call Son. He'll be down." Anyway, the promoter calls me. I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, like official release party for Tory Lanez, bet, cool." I was just excited to do some official shit. It was definitely like okay, you got to help us sell tickets to situation. You make like $5 every $25 ticket you sell. You know, I was really getting screwed over, and they would just went for me because I was in college. But I didn't know the game that deeply at that point, so I was just like, all right, cool, this is how it works. I sold the fuck out of those tickets. I had all the homies pull up. I had people coming from Baltimore and New York for that shit. And
That's
then I did my thing. And at that point, the promoter at that spot was like, okay, he's nice with it, and he's got people that will pull up. So he actually looked out, and he kind of he ended up booking me for mad shit at that club. I did like, you know, these were the resume builders. I did a Travis night, I did a Migos night, Wiz Khalifa night, Rick Ross night, and then my last night I did there was the Champions release party, and Championships. That was Meek's last album, and I opened that. And it was a great opportunity, but I was definitely getting screwed over every time. And like I said, like the promoter fucked with me, so he gave me a little bit of slack. He was like, "Look, if you don't sell enough tickets, I'm gonna like cook the books so that my boss doesn't know that you fucked up. I'll make it look like, you know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
But that was the time when I started to realize like how the promoter games work, how these bottle service clubs work, because the business behind it is very different. Like the models have changed a lot. You know, you're not just throwing a party when you're at the club anymore. You're selling bottles. That's your real job. That's how they make their money. And I'm like, that's cool, but that's not really, I'm here to, you know, bring people together and you know, create spaces where people can really feel themselves. I love spinning at the club, and I'm always happy to step into that, but I'm more focused on something else. And at the same time, when I realized what you can do as a curator, throwing your own events, bringing your own people together, you know, most times when I throw my events now, I'm the promoter booking myself. So that means I'm the one talking to the venue. I'm the one talking to the sponsors. I'm the one booking all of the homies, all the performers, including myself when that's how it's going. And then I pay myself as a DJ, the same rate as all the other DJs I book, and then I get the promoter fee as well. And that gives me way more, really just freedom and opportunity to do it how I like, and also to like make money. You know what I mean? I'm not splitting. I'm literally the one paying people out, so I can make sure everybody gets what they deserve, rather than like, I don't know, the clubs are whack how the breakdowns happen. And honestly, what I learned in that era, the owners and the people booking these shows at these clubs put mad pressure on the promoters to sell tickets. So what did the promoters do? They book DJs and put all the pressure on the DJs. They say, if you don't sell these tickets, I'm not going to book you again. And it's not because they're dicks. It's because if they don't sell enough tickets, they're not going to get to work there ever again. So It's like, you know, I get that model. There's just like other ways around it. So Speed Up, basically, when I figured that out, I started my first party called Good Clean Fun. It was an open format dance party. And like,
you came up with that name?
Yeah.
That's fire, yo. How you
know,
like that name, Wordy?
I just wanted it to be simple. You know, I wanted it to be like, look, just pull up, bring your friends. It was really important to like, just being who I am, like all the homies are in different creative positions, like fashion, art, you know, gallery curation, musicians, instrumentalists, rappers, poets, songwriters, all this stuff. So to me, it's always been about just like, wouldn't it be crazy if we got all these people in the same room? Like, imagine what kind of stuff would come out of that, right? But honestly, it just changes the game. Anybody who's DJing or rapping or throwing like, or interested in getting booked more, start your own event and start booking people. because then it changes the game. And, you know, I used to be like, hey, yo, let me play your party. I swear I'm nice with it. And people be like, all right. But now it's, yo, come play my party in Philly and book me and I'll come to LA and play yours. And that shit happens every day. You know what I mean? And it's just a great way to connect with people and really come to the table with something rather than just having your personal brand.
Yeah. Let's talk about the community of like DJing and like how you got like how you were talking about. But can you expound on it more?
Yeah, man. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like it's like, I was talking to my homie who's a tattoo dude the other day, and he was talking about how he's about to go to LA. And there's this shop out there where they're gonna let him like do a week-long residency where he's just gonna be able to set up shop at this tattoo shop and make money while he's out in LA. And like, that was that's such a big thing in the DJ world. Like, I went to Berlin last summer. Never been there, don't know anybody, but, you know, hit up like 3 people I knew that have spent time there, and I had couches. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like really tight, especially it's a small world. Like last night at the Freddie Gibbs show, I heard how Freddie's DJ spun, and I knew he's from LA. So I went up to him and I was like, yo, I be in LA sometimes. Last time I was there, I spun at the Dime. And I said that because I had a hunch. And the Dime is like this, it's on Fairfax. It's this like turntablist club where a lot of really ill like battle DJs spin.
That's fine.
It's a local spot. Last time I was in LA, I spun there with Waddy J. Shout out Waddy. He's from Baltimore. He's Danny Lay and Corday's tour DJ. He's a big bro. He's put me onto a lot of good stuff. And he had me come and play that party with him. So last night when I'm talking to Freddie Gibbs DJ, you know, I dropped that gem, and he's like, he looks up and he's like, yo, the Dime, I spin there. Waddy, Artistic, those are the homies. And I just had the hunch because I knew his sound. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing is that, like, you got the overall DJ community, and then you got the pockets. You got, like, the hip-hop sound, hip-hop cliques. You got the house music and techno world. You got the club music people. And there's some overlap, especially in a city like Baltimore where, you know, it's not that big of a scene. But literally, like, anybody I meet at this point, I'm probably one person away, and that one person is probably like somebody that they consider family. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of I don't know, like the people you work with in this freelance art stuff, especially on the type of time that we're on, where it's day in, day out, full time, do or die shit. It's like the trust you have to have for these people, and like the way you rely on each other is so different than any friendship or any kind of relationship I've ever experienced. So like, you know, there's homies I got who I know I could call for anything. But at this point in my life, there's the bigger part of that list, like when shit really, you know, goes down, my DJs are the people who I know got me the most. It's a beautiful thing. You know, like me and Bree is a good example. Bree Mafia, shout out Bree. We're in very different worlds. You know, we're very different types of DJs. She's a lot more on the mixtape, making sure everybody knows about the local artists and kind of being a bridge between the underground scenes and like the club scene, right? Where I'm more of a dance floor DJ. I've done a lot more like battling and stuff like that, more on the technical side. The nerd side, if you will. That's where I'm at. But like me and Bree have a great time like coming together and kind of discussing our different worlds that we're in and just hanging out, like seeing shit from across the table that, I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing. The way DJs can connect. You know, a lot of DJs are competitive, but once they can get past that, you know, and realize that like if I'm doing the best I can, that's good for you too. Right. You know, so I don't know. I also want to say it's similar to photographers, right? I feel like photographers and DJs, the rest of the industry sees us as like a side piece, and we know that. You know what I mean? Like we're used to people being like, you know, making the photographer and the DJ like the afterthought, and we're used to people not knowing if we're part of production or if we are artists ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of just like, yeah, nobody gets what we do, and that's fine. You know what I mean? We are, you know, I like to say DJs are like, we're our own animal. We're right in between the creators and the consumers. You know what I mean? A lot of the homies in the studio making the music that I know, they don't go to the club. They don't know what it really feels like today. You know what I mean? And then vice versa, the people who are listening to the music, they don't know how this shit works. So I feel like we are the smoke in the mirrors in a way.
Like the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because y'all where the money is getting spent. Like you saying, like it's crazy how music is such a like a tool, like a vehicle for like liquor, like bottles that get sold, or like really for movies. And you think about how like we really invested our whole life in music, and music is kind of just like it's just kind of such a small pocket of everything. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I always tell people, and this is like a hard one to swallow, but like when I'm talking to artist homies or the people who are trying to launch brands and stuff within music, excuse me.
I keep going.
I always say like
hard one to swallow is crazy.
Hard pill to swallow. That's what I meant. My bad. You got me.
I'm gonna cut that out.
Nah, but like, you know, obviously to us, these songs and these tracks and these projects are, you know, meaningful. You know what I mean? We put everything into them. But unfortunately, given the space that we're in and, you know, this capitalistic world that we're in, those songs are just commercials for you, right? You know, and that's what I try to tell people, like, whatever's going on, whatever you're trying to push, all these songs, all of this stuff is just a commercial for you, your brand, your values, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, like this stuff that we put in our everything to is background music for everybody else. That's just like, you know, they put 20 seconds in the scene to give you a vibe, right?
The motherfuckers in the studio going crazy.
Right, exactly, yeah, for 8 hours, right, trying to get it right or whatever it is. But yeah, and I think that can be looked at two ways. Like you can approach that as like, oh yeah, like they don't give a shit about my art. Or you can look at it as like, I am art, right? Everything you put out is art, and it's a commercial for you as the main attraction, right? It's like, I don't know, the idea like Kanye talks about being able to contribute to every space you're in creatively, whether it's in a studio or, you know, doing interior design or whatever it is, you know, just bringing your vision to whatever you touch.
Can you speak about the different genres that you work in, like that you spin?
It's like my OG told me a while back that I have to pick where I want to be, because if I don't, they're going to pick for me, and it's not where I'm going to want to be. What he meant was, are you a hip-hop DJ? Are you a radio DJ? Are you a house music DJ? Are you disco? Are you, you know, what are you? And as somebody that just loves music and as somebody who's hard-headed, I'm like, you know, my big, like, back and forth has always been like, I want to do it all. You know, I love, like, I came up on hip-hop. That's in me. That's how I approach all this stuff. But I love dance music. I love funk. I love the old stuff. I love the new stuff. I love house music. I love techno. I love to, like, see what those different worlds look and feel like. And the thing that I've learned is that, like, they all, I think about it like they all have different superpowers, right? When you're at the club listening to hip-hop, you know, you're feeling yourself. It makes people want to, you know, put their best self forward, be a little bit flashy in a style way. You know what I mean? Which is dope. It has people singing along. It brings people together on a cultural tip where, like, oh, you know that reference. I know that reference. We know that reference. Cool. Then you go to house music. House music, most people don't know you know what I mean? Most club goers, they're not going to know every track you're playing. It's not like, oh, you know this, I know that. It's not like that. It's more of like, you get so lost in it, you don't hear where the songs change. Like with hip-hop, you know every time the song changes, and it's about how sick those transitions are. It's like, damn, he pulled that off, she pulled that off. Where house, it's the opposite. It's like, how much can you blend this, right? And what that does, what house's superpower is you start to lose track of time. You don't know if that song is the same one that started 10 minutes ago or if it's a new one. And because of that, like, it's this different kind of experience where you really just lose yourself on the dance floor. So I try to, like, you know, bring the things I've learned from spinning house into my hip-hop sets. And then when I'm spinning house, you know, I might scratch a little bit to add just a little bit more flair and, like, personal sauce to stand out from every other house DJ that's just doing, you know, smooth-ass transitions. So, you know, to me, it's really just, like, it's like food. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a chef, you're going to want to learn about all these different geographical tastes and putting those stories together too. It's really about the story, right? Like, as a DJ, I feel like I learn about the world and people through music. So we got this thing called club music in Baltimore. Lives around 125 to 130 BPM. Then you got Philly and Jersey Club. You got juke music and footwork in Chicago. Techno in Detroit. Then you got garage in England. You got Baile funk in Brazil. And all of these genres live at that same BPM, 125 to 130 roughly. And that's like fast, right? And it's because it's functional music. It's cultural. That's what you play at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. at the club when everybody's sweating and there's ass being thrown. Like, there's a functional need in society for that music, and it kind of shows up in these different grooves, whether it's Baltimore, boom, 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 or your juke in Chicago, boom, 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 boom. Then you got Baile funk in Brazil. Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying?
You're like a genius.
But that shit is so interesting to me because it's literally the same speed, just with the kick moved this much, which makes it, 1,000 miles in a different part of the world. But like you can hear it and know exactly where it came from, know exactly what era it was. It's like you hear G-Funk and you're like, oh, this is late 90s in LA. You know what I mean? Like, I love the idea that you can hear something and just have a whole story behind it. And then once you get to 140, you can cut to 70 BPM, which is all of Atlanta trap. Like, that's my formula. I start at like 120, 125, and that's like, you could play Kate Trinata at that tempo. You could play some more sing-along stuff, some like, good, soulful, bouncy house music that gets like people activated. Then you speed it up. Then you get to 130 where you can drop some club shit in. You can drop some Baile, get a little bit dirtier, you know what I mean? Where people are like not just like bouncing around, we happy on the dance floor, but it's like, oh shit, like, yeah. And then you push that to 140, and then you cut to 70, and now we're playing Gucci. Now we're playing fucking, Migos, like Ray Strummer, like that shit that'll have people just like, yeah. You know what I mean? So once you get people like, I used to do it the other way around. This is just funny. Like, I used to like start my sets with, like at clubs. I would like, and this is long form mixing. This is when you gotta like break the ice, be your own opener, wait for people to get drunk, and then take it there. You know what I mean? Because it's not always like last night where you just hop in front of a full room at peak hours ready to fucking rip. Like, sometimes you gotta take it there, right? But yeah, I used to play hip hop thinking like, okay, I'll play these songs that everybody knows, get them all on the same page. They'll all sing, do the sing along thing together, and then I'll start dropping like beats, like club music and shit, and people get dancey. But what I realized is that like, it's a speed thing, right? So like, you play 130, you play those like club grooves, it gets people hype, it gets people on the dance floor, but then they get tired. If you leave it there all night, they're gonna get tired, they're gonna leave. So people always say, or my OG told me one time, 130 and up gets people on the dance floor, and then you drop down to that like 70 to 90, or 70 to 100 range, and that's what keeps people there. That's where all the bops are. That's where all the like paced out records are. I'm talking about like, I don't know, like the staples. I'm talking about like, I don't know, like a lot of 90s hip hop lives in 85 to 90 BPM. And those are just like the bops that you can kind of keep a pace with and not wear people out. Because if you notice, like when you go to a party or a show, generally when it's just DJs, the first DJ will do their thing. They'll be vibey as hell. It'll be like, oh, yo, you played some cool shit. And then the next DJ will play a little bit faster. And then the next DJ after that plays a little bit faster. By the end of the night, the last DJ is just like playing 130 tracks at 150 going fucking balls to the wall. And it's like, all right, that's cool. But what about this, right? What about a story instead of just like this? You know what I mean? So that's also, why it's important to me to have like lineups with really good chemistry where you trust people that you're spinning with and you're not just trying to like outdo them or take it crazier, you know what I mean? But you trust them to like, I'm going to take it down so that we can take it back up. And they're like, all right, I'm going to meet you where you're at and then take it up a little bit and then bring it back down so next man's can go where, you know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't know. I'm ranting now, but like I'm just like I think that DJing has changed a little bit in the last few years. Where it's
how's it changed?
It's like now it's like a look at me thing. It's like come see my DJ set.
Yeah, that's everything, yo.
Everything's like that now. You know what I mean? And like that's cool. No disrespect. I love that DJing is there for people however they want it to be. If you want to be DJ that doesn't really get too technical, doesn't get nothing, too deep into the actual craft of it, and you just want to be like a model / DJ influencer, something, dope. I hope you get your bread up and have a great time.
Yeah.
But DJing specific, like to me, that's not quite DJing. That's like something else. To me, like DJing, it's again, coming from hip hop, like it's about them. You know what I mean? And I see this a lot. Like people will always be like, come to my party. Come see me DJ. Fuck that. Come be a part of this. You know what I mean? Let's do this together. That's what it should be to me. And I think that a lot of DJs get caught up in the social media part of it when really it's just like, and that's why you get situations where DJs are trying to outdo each other on the same lineup and play faster and faster than each other, because they're just like, I'm gonna have the best set, instead of all of y'all on the lineup trying to give them the best night. Right. So I think that we've gotten away from that a little bit. But to me, like, this shit is church. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people at church, testifying, falling out, feeling like they are touched by God. I've seen the same experience on the dance floor. I've seen people who aren't allowed to go to church, mind you, for whatever reason, aren't welcome there, really like find that human thing where they just are stripped down. Like I think that's a DJ's job, to get people to get past all the things that we think we are, just to that moment where we just are, right? Where we can really just feel ourselves and just feel free to express ourselves. So that's my thing. I think that like a DJ's job is to facilitate that moment, which is it's like church, man. So.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the fucking DJs, man.
Shout out to the DJs, man.
Hey, I'm not even gonna be at the Folders Halloween party. This is for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all right.
You gonna dress up?
I probably will. It's Halloween. Like, I never really, like, I don't know. Like, in general, I kind of always wear the same thing in my life, whether I'm at a fucking dinner party or DJing at the club. Like, I kind of always look like I might be homeless. So I got to really, like, push myself to, like, do it up and meet the theme for the night. But it's Halloween. So
I got
I'm
a mask
like,
for you. Gonna be Batman?
Yeah, I might be Jason. I'm looking at this like.
Tell me how you got your name.
Spun
by Sun.
Listen, my name is DJ Sun. Spun by Sun online on social media, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, all that. And I got my name because if you make the D silent, it's just Jason. It's my name, Jason. But then I was like, I can't be nobody's son, because everybody would be like, oh yeah, that's my son or whatever. And I'm really like that, you know what I'm saying? So I had to go with the Sun, you know what I mean?
The S-U-N.
The S-U-N. So DJ Sun comes from my name, Jason. It's a little punny, a little corny, but it is what it is. People say it fits me, so I'm with the shits.
Yeah. Hey, tell us about your hoodie.
Yo, listen. When I was younger, like, all my friends are into fashion. You know what I mean? Fashion, music, they go hand in hand. I got some drippy motherfuckers that hang out with me, and I could never keep up. Whether it was financially or just like knowing what was hot, you know what I mean? But I was like, all right, look, I got friends that make clothes too. My goal has always been, and I'm pretty much there now. Anytime you see me out, I'm probably wearing some Baltimore shit. There's a couple pieces I have that are Philly, but almost, I'd say 99% of my wardrobe is all local Baltimore artists. And that's really important to me. You know, all these clothes are built to last. I'm not really for the fast fashion shit. I'm really into just like, you know, the local stuff with stories. Like, these people, like we do in music, put everything into it. So it's important to me to rock that. So what I got on right here, this Vinny Hager. And this is actually a special piece because Vinny's a painter. He does art, and he's just starting to get into clothes. And he made these jumpsuits. I got pants too. I'm not wearing them right now. Got them in the car. But he got the Vinny Hager sweatshirt, you know what I mean? I'm actually wearing right here. This is Currency Studios from their Vintemporary event they do with Good Neighbor up in Hamden. If you don't know, Currency Studios has been around since 2007. That's one of Baltimore's like staple brands. Shout out Mike. They do a lot of really cool stuff between clothing retail and also art and gallery curation. But man, shout out Slum Paradise, shout out Kilogram, shout out City of Gods. Like, we got a lot of really heavy fashion and just like clothing brands in Baltimore. And they've been working crazy. So I can't wait to, buy some more pieces, but also to see the world kind of get hip. Because similarly to the music coming out of Baltimore right now, we got a lot of really cool threads. So, but yeah, shout out Vinny Hager.
And where is that camera on? It's still recording? Hey, yo, speaking of fashion, Baltimore fashion, I'm from Columbia, Maryland, as John Wells told everybody last night. But, yeah, this the new Floaters gear, you know what I'm saying? Got the duck on the back, you know what I'm saying? We sign them at the party and shit like that. So you should probably play like 50 Cent window shopper or something. Like,
I got you.
If somebody just in the kitchen ain't not buying nothing, like, I'm like, hey, yo, son, play that.
I'm going to have to check with Bree first. I know she feels some type of way about 50 Cent sometime. I'm going to be like, listen, Bree, is it cool vibe?
Oh, nah. I shit, whatever Bree like, that's what we're going with.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? I bet. Yo, anything else you want to leave us with?
Man, I mean, look, personally, I got some music on the way. I've been producing just as long as I've been DJing, but I've kind of been reluctant to like monetize it. And any artist listening to this that has monetized something that they like really love, they know how that can change your relationship with it. So I've been a little bit hesitant, but it's past time. So I'm really excited. I'm working with a label out of Philly to put out this EP. I also make beats. So if you're looking for new sounds to work with or whatever, definitely get at me. If you want to listen to some of my mixes, hit up Mixcloud or SoundCloud. But really, I just want to say if you either in it and you like on your path right now or you thinking about it, just do that shit. The best advice I ever got was in this two things. One, you can have everything you ever wanted in this life, just not all at once. That's something I really had to think about, whether it's like you want to have the family life, but also the financial success, but also be able to express yourself creatively. Like, you can do all of that. Maybe not all at once, because you got to put your focus and really like back it up with work, but you really can do it all. You just got to start. And that's the other thing, most days this whole thing feels like you got to jump off the cliff and build the plane while you're flying it. Right. And that's really how it is. Just start. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to fail. Just run that shit up, see what happens, and tell your story. You know what I mean? It's cool to like pull from shit that you're inspired by and check the stuff around you. But also know that like what comes from inside of you is the thing that hasn't been done before. So run that shit up. Have fun. Treat people well. Be kind.
Hey, yo, DJ Sun, man, I appreciate you stopping by. Yo, this is a great episode, man. You part of the gang. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure being around you, working with you.
Likewise. Can
you shout out the Floaters and we out of here?
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Floaters. If you need any kind of work done, media-wise, and you're in Baltimore, get at them. Honestly, worldwide, they're going to hold it down for you. Definitely pull up to this Halloween party. Meet the crew. Get involved. And just reach out. If you got some cool stuff you working on, hit the Floaters up. Hit me up. Put yourself out there. Nothing happens until we talk about it and, like, put ourselves out there. So, shout out to the Floaters. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me come through, talk my shit. Much love.
And this is the bonus segment. Hey, yo,
yeah.
You see the Rick Rubin book?
Yeah.
Can you pick it up and just read a page from it, like a random page?
Yeah. It just says, taking a wrong turn allows you to see landscapes you wouldn't otherwise have seen. Facts.
You can go to another page. I think somebody else read that part already.
All right, let me do another one.
That's crazy.
Many people may seem walled off, but sometimes walls can provide different ways of seeing over and around obstacles. I got to take that one in for a second. Many people may seem walled off, but sometimes walls can provide different ways of seeing over and around obstacles. Yeah, I think that sometimes, especially when we're new in creative work, we take everything personally. So maybe we hit somebody up and they don't respond the way we want them to, or maybe we share something we're really excited about with somebody and they're like not, feeling it the same way. And I know in the past I've been so quick to take that personally, but with age, but also with experience comes some patience. And 100% of those times where I took shit personally, if I had just waited and kind of seen what was really going on, maybe learned some more about the person I was interacting with or whatever it is, I would have realized that there was a million reasons that had nothing to do with me, why they were being the way they were being. And a lot of the time it was because they had more experience and more patience. So they were waiting to see how things unfolded to make sure they were putting their energy towards something right. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like, oh, they said, fuck me. When really they said, let me make sure I can approach this in a way that's good for you without just being here. You know what I mean? I think that there's like that like excitement to do art can be detrimental at first because you put yourself, and this is sensitive because like I'm always, you know, I will always preach that you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations to grow and learn. But I also think that there's a fine line between doing that versus like overextending yourself in a way that's going to fuck up a first impression, right? Again, back to, you know, talking the talk, but also being able to walk the walk. So once you get in the room, you can back that shit up with like craft and work. So yeah, I think that sometimes the way people seem like walled off, it forces you to kind of look at things differently, right? Because anytime shit goes the way we want it to, we're not going to look at things differently because we're like, oh, bet. However we're looking at shit works. But when things, you know, have friction, then you're like, okay, let me shift my weight a little bit, and then you end up seeing whole world of possibilities you didn't think, whether it's like, oh shit, maybe we should switch that lineup around for the chemistry of what's happening in the city, or maybe it's like, oh shit, we should do that pop-up in the spring instead of summer because so-and-so is going to be here at the same time. You know, whatever it is, like,
Right.
I think it's just always important to like reassess and perspective, really. That's what this quote was really talking about, perspective. And I think perspective just is always the best or a really helpful tool.
What page is that?
297.
Okay. All right, bet, man. Hey, that was fire, man. Hey, we learned a lot today, man. Shit, man. The science of DJing and the moods and the vibes of the dance floor. And,
You know?
yeah, DJ Son, you know what I mean? Yo.
Yo.